What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes here, back with another discussion video. This time we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As you guys can tell by the title, I am going to be ranking all of the SH Figuarts Jujutsu Kaisen figures from my least favorite to my favorite. And this is something I feel like comes with perfect timing, considering the fact that Jujutsu Kaisen did just win Anime of the Year, as well as 8 other awards. And you guys know I love to talk about some JJK, so I had to go ahead and do it. Now, in case you guys don't know, there have been 11 releases so far. 2 of them really count as one figure, and I'll get to that in just a second. So basically, I'm going to do it in 10 different segments. This is going to be difficult because I absolutely love this line. I love all of these figures. Of course, I love some more than others, but I just truly enjoy this line. And so if you guys are interested in this type of content, make sure to drop a like, as that will show your support. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with number 10. Now, coming in at number 10 is none other than the SH Figuarts Megami Fushiguro, and this one right here was a tough choice, but when it comes to the rest of the line in its entirety, I feel like this is easily the worst release. Now, not to say that it's a bad figure at all, because in retrospect, it looks exactly like the character from the series. Everything is great for the most part. He comes with almost all of the necessities, but one thing that really brought this figure down from me is the articulation. Yuji and Gojo were phenomenal, and this one being the third release in the line really feels like it falls short in the articulation department. He's much more stiff than Yuji and Gojo, and I know he doesn't really go crazy when it comes to combat, but I was still expecting this figure to pose around effortlessly, and I found myself running into a lot of limitations with this guy. Now, outside of just the articulation, one big issue I had with this guy was the fact that he didn't come with a bloody face for his domain expansion like Figma did. I truly feel like they skipped out on that. They gave us the extra faceplate for Sukuna, which was pretty much a repaint of the one we got with the SH Figuarts Yuji, and that's cool. I mean, but still, I would have loved to get something a little bit more with this guy. Maybe some effect pieces, some Shikigami, just something. It really fell short, despite it still being a very good figure. Now, Megami being number 10 and number 9 being Nobara is definitely going to make it seem like I'm diving into the core team here of Team Gojo, and I promise you that's not the case. But I do feel like that Nobara is probably the second weakest figure in this line. And honestly, it's just because of the decision they made with her skirts. I do feel like it should have been a much softer plastic so that it didn't limit the articulation as much. Other than that, I feel like they did everything they needed to do for the most part. The articulation is great. The faceplates and everything look amazing. I love that they gave her a windswept hairpiece. And I love the fact that her expressions come right out of the anime, and it's just completely accurate. And honestly, that's all I have to say about this one. I do wish she would have came with her straw doll. Again, that's another accessory that Figma threw in that SH Figuarts slipped on, but granted, it could be something that comes in the future still, but I think it's something they should have thrown in. This right now, from what I've seen, is the cheapest figure in the line, so I'm sure that most JJK collectors probably feel the same way. I'm sure a lot of people probably passed on this figure, but if you're a JJK fan, you still gotta add this one to the line. It's Queen Kugisaki. Come on now. Coming in at number 8 is none other than our boy Jujutsu Kaisen 0 Suguru Geto. And I'll be honest, the rest of this video is going to be extremely difficult because I truly love all of the figures I'm about to discuss next. Just about the same, but there's going to be that one itsy bitsy thing that makes me like the next figure more than the last. But anyway, here we have our boy Suguru Geto, which I think this is probably the most slept on figure in this line. And honestly, if the JJK line ever ends, I feel like it's going to be because of this figure being slept on, as well as another one I'll discuss a little bit later. But when it comes to this release here, Tamashii Nations couldn't have done anything better other than this little connection piece right here that tucks into whatever this is that he is wearing over his kimono. I do think that that piece should have pegged in and been some kind of like plastic, or even been on a swivel, or I don't know. They could have done it so much better, but basically this piece just kind of pulls out and then tucks into this little almost like harness piece in here. And that I don't like, because when you're posing this guy around, it's just going to come out. You're going to have to adjust it every single time you move the arms around on this guy. But that is literally the only complaint I have with him. I know some people might not like the fact that when you bend the elbow, you get some gapping in there, but like, what could they have done about that? Like, I have no idea how they could have done that any better. Now, granted, they've done some figures a little bit differently in the past, but the hinges and joints still don't look that good. So I am completely on board with how this figure turned out. I love the soft plastic that they used for the lower part of the garb. This figure just turned out amazing to me, and I really enjoyed photographing it and having it in my collection. Now, coming in at number 7 is one figure that I might as well throw 2 action figures in for, and it is the SH Figuarts Satoru Gojo, and it's him from the regular anime, and it's also him from Jujutsu Kaisen 0. The main reason that I threw both of them in there is because essentially these are the exact same figure. The only difference being the collar piece is a little bit smaller on the JJK 0 version, and then the head sculpts are completely different on the JJK 0 version. It's not like he poses any different, the proportions are any different. Other than that, everything is the same. And when it comes to this figure, I'll be honest, I do like the faceplates and everything better on the JJK 0 version. The hair sculpt looks a lot better, and I do like the smaller collar as well, just because his face isn't completely tucked behind it. Now, as an action figure, I do think I like the blindfolded version better, just because I like that look more on Gojo, if that makes any sense. But both of these figures are amazing. In case you guys didn't know, the first Gojo release was actually number 1 on my top 10 of the year a few years back, and I still love this figure dearly. Gojo is my favorite anime character of all time, so it's obvious why I cherish these figures. Coming in at number 6 is none other than the SH Figuarts Jujutsu Kaisen 0, Yuta Okotsu. And I just recently revisited this figure in, I believe, my last video, and I absolutely love it. Love it. Even more so than I remembered, just because of the fact I haven't picked this guy up in a while, and when I made that video, it immediately reminded me of how great an action figure this guy is. He comes with literally everything that you need. A cursed energy effect would have been great, but Tamashii Nations isn't really known for effect parts, so I try not to harp on that too much. The only issue I have with this figure, and it is just one issue, is between the butterfly joint and the chest piece, there are these soft plastic pieces that are used to hide the gaps. And when you move the arms around, those pieces do tend to kind of get warped in between the plastic, and then you have to readjust them or the gaps are showing. That's literally it. That's the only issue I have with this figure. And that's not even that big of a deal, because for the most part, all the gaps are usually hidden anyway, whether or not you move the pieces around. So that's it, man. Other than that, it's a solid freaking figure, man. And I said it when it came out. I truly believe that this is one of the best JJK figures. Until this day, I stand on that. Coming in at number 5 is none other than the King of Curses himself. And realistically speaking, this guy is here just because I do like the other figures I'm going to discuss a little bit more. And I know I've said that a couple of times, but that's it, man. I don't have any issues with this figure overall, because the lower half is Yuji Itadori, which the fact that I haven't added him in yet shows that he's very high on the list in terms of likability. And so that means the lower half is great. And then the upper half is pretty much flawless. It has all the articulation points that you need. Sukuna's tattoos look amazing. His face plates look amazing. I have really enjoyed posing this guy, doing domain expansions, and then the fact that you can interchange the faceplates onto the Yuji body where he has his hoodie. There, you can't go wrong with this figure, man. I absolutely love this figure. I remember when it came out, the only gripe I really had with it is the fact that I wished it was Sukuna in his robe, but I'm not even gonna lie, man. I love this look. So if we're gonna get a robe Sukuna down in the line somewhere, I am completely fine with this release. To this day, man, I love it. And if you don't have this figure, what are you waiting for? Go get it. It's the king of curses. And if you're reading the manga, I ain't gonna say nothing else. Read the manga. Coming in at number 4 is none other than Mr. Boogie Woogie himself. It is everyone's favorite brother, Aoi Todo. And being honest with you guys, just like the last couple of figures I've discussed, the only issue I have with this figure is the fact that I don't like that the paint on the face does not match the body. It literally just looks like he kind of is wearing a blush or blemish over his face. It's not extremely noticeable, but it is noticeable. And that's my biggest issue with this guy. It's my only issue with this guy. Other than that, he is a solid figure. He's got the muscular build that he's supposed to have. He comes with all the expressions he's supposed to have. The lower half functions very well. They just did so good with this guy, man. Like, everything about this figure is just amazing, man. And he is just awesome to have in your collection. He feels good in hand. He feels good to pose around. He's just a solid piece. I literally can't brag on him anymore. And I don't think anyone passed on this one, but if you did, what are you doing? Go pick it up. It's Todo. Come on now. He's sick, man. This is a great freaking figure. Now, coming in at number 3 is none other than the main character himself, Itadari. I'm sorry. I know some of you guys are like, what the f***? Like, what are you talking about, Ace? Huh? There's no way. The other figures are much better. And you guys can feel that way if you want to. But honestly, when it comes to this Yuji, I remember, before I even got my hands on this guy, D Amazing shot me a text message and he said, you are going to effing love the Yuji figure. And that only raised my hype even more. And then when I got my hands on it, that was it. That was it. I absolutely adore this figure. This is one that I would take with me to my grave 1,000,000 times over if I could. He looks great. He poses great. He comes with a decent amount of accessories. There could always be more, but I am not going to complain. I've had so much fun posing this figure around, especially with the more figures I add to my collection. He looks good alongside Gojo, Nobara, Megami, Todo, Yuta. It doesn't matter who you pose him alongside. This is the first figure in the line, and it stands the test of time. This figure is just outstanding, man. And I truly feel like this is some of Tamashii Nation's best work. I love this thing. And I truly hope that they give us a season 2 or end of season 2, season 3 Yuji, where he's got the scars. And then they just throw in some more faceplates and more accessories. I'm going to love it even more, man. I want them to go all in with Yuji figures, man. I mean, I love it. I love him as a main character. I love him as a figure. This is one that is quite difficult to track down right now, but I do hope for the people who missed out on him that they do at some point give us a reissue, because he is a regular release. So let's keep our fingers crossed. But for the time being, he's up there on the list for real. Coming in at number 2 is none other than my boy Suguru Geto. This is him from the Hidden Inventory arc, which is the 6th episode beginning of season 2. And if you guys didn't know, Suguru Geto definitely would have been my favorite character had he stayed the way he was. I absolutely loved him as a hero, not as much as a villain, even though I do understand why he became the way that he did. It makes sense. The JJK world is cruel, and we saw it truly take its effect up on him, turning him into the character he became in Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Now, when it comes to this figure here, Tamashii Nations did everything they were supposed to do correctly. You would think that with the pants, the articulation would be a little bit limited. It's not. The upper body functions so well. I love what they did with the hands and the pockets accessories. It's not the best looking, but for some reason, I absolutely love it. I truly love it. I don't know why. I love everything about this figure, man. But sad to say, this is the second slept on figure in this line, which if the JJK line does end, I feel like this is probably going to be the reason why. He released a month ago in February of 2024, depending on when you're watching this video, and he is still available everywhere. And I'm like, why are people passing on this guy? Because Gojo sold out. You gotta have Suguru alongside Gojo. So for the people who skipped on him, what are you guys doing? Like, this should have sold out also. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's up with you guys. Let me not get too serious. I don't want anybody mad. But this is such a solid figure, man. I just absolutely love everything about this guy. I have no gripes. The only thing I could say, if they had done something a little bit better, I wish that they had given us another angry face. But other than that, it's solid, man. This figure is a 10 out of 10 for me, and so will be the next one. I'm sure you guys didn't even have to guess number 1, and the only way you would have had to guess is if you just completely forgot about this figure as you were watching the video. It is none other than the boy, the GOAT, the honored one, Satoru freaking Gojo. And I love Gojo. So there's probably a bit of bias here, but at the end of the day, I cannot deny that this is a magnificent action figure, man. This right here is the peak of what the Jujutsu Kaisen action figure line could be, because when I got this figure in hand, limitations on this guy didn't exist. The depths of articulation seemed endless, and I truly enjoy that when it comes to an action figure. There was nothing that I tried to do that I couldn't with this guy, and that alone made me love it. When you add in extra accessories and faceplates, that just makes the figure all the better, man. And when it comes to a character like Gojo, you don't really necessarily need a whole lot, because when it comes to this character in particular, for me, I love him enough to where even the bare minimum will make me happy. Now, granted, you can never go wrong because the more the merrier, but still, this is just a solid figure, man. And I got to stand Geto next to him for the people that don't understand. I got to stand Geto next to him. Look at these two, man. These are peak action figures, bro. Peak action figures, bro. Number 1 and number 2, Satoru freaking Gojo, and of course, Suguru Geto. Now, keeping it all the way real with you guys, I did this video not only because of all the awards that Jujutsu Kaisen won, but again, because this is my favorite action figure line, as well as my favorite anime, man. Like, I absolutely adore Jujutsu Kaisen, man. Despite the fact that Gege Akutami is driving me nuts every week, I love Jujutsu Kaisen, man. I love the anime. I love the storytelling. I love the characters. I love the character development. There is literally nothing that I dislike about this series. Even the fact that he kills off so many of my favorite characters, who I'm not going to name, but it's just so good. It never feels forced. It never feels like there's never a boring or dull moment in JJK, man. And so this action figure line means more to me than you guys know. Like, I cannot explain it enough. And so I just really, really enjoy these. And honestly, I hope that this line is not over. I really need Tamashii Nations to announce the next figure. I don't want to join the crew, but I'm being honest. Where is Toji? Where is Mahito? Where is Nanami? Where is Jogo? Where is, I don't know, a freaking Sukuna when he's going on a rampage in Shibuya? There are so many characters we need. Where's Maki? Where's Inumaki? Where's Panda? We need characters. We need characters. Tamashii Nations, if you're watching this, I don't think you are, we need characters. We need more characters. And guys, if you're watching this to this point, make sure to share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. I really want Tamashii to know we want more of these, because we do. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, as that always helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. And last but not least, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep up with my activity outside of YouTube. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe wherever you are, and bye.